What is up, Gato Squad? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about the brand new 2018 Honda Accord. Now, for the 2018 Honda Accord, as many of you know, Honda released all the information this past weekend, and it's actually very, very interesting what they're doing with it. Now, I'm driving my 335D today as it is my only sedan, and it's only fitting to talk about sedans first before we talk about the Accord. So, in case you don't know, sedans have not been doing so well in the market. So they have been losing a lot of market share to SUVs and crossovers and things like CX-5, the HRV, CRV, those kinds of vehicles, and unfortunately leaving the sedans lacking in sales. So Honda and Toyota are trying to inject some excitement into their sedans to see if they can reignite the sales. So what Honda came out with over the weekend is actually pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details, and let's actually take a look at the car before we start. Pretty cool, right? So let's discuss the looks of the car first. So the front of it, I think they did a phenomenal job. It does have some hints of the Dodge Charger in front. Take a look at the Dodge Charger. And then the Honda Accord Sport. There are some similarities there, but I think they did a wonderful job in the front. Where I don't like is the back. So the back, I don't like that they added that weird stripe at the bottom. Take a look. It's not necessary, I don't think. It's just an added, it makes the car look bloated, in my opinion, in the back. So design-wise, it's okay. It's not my favorite, and I think they missed the boat by not offering a wagon. So if you can imagine like a wagon version of this car, I think it would look pretty awesome, and it would add so much more functionality to the car. Other than that, I mean, it is an Accord, so they had to be a little bit conservative with it, so it is more of a conservative design. The car has grown a little bit to add more occupant space, things like that. But, it is what it is. So that's the design of it. Now let's take a look at the engines that they offer. And this is where things get really interesting. So they're offering a 1.5T, which is essentially the same engine out of the CRV, just slightly tuned different. So the difference between the 1.5T that the Accord is going to have and the CRV has and the Civic hatchback has, like mine, is a slightly different tune and a slightly different turbo. So it's actually the same size turbo with different impellers, so that the power comes on differently, and you can actually squeeze out a little bit more power from the CRV/Accord/SI engine. So that's the 1.5T, and that's going to be offered with a CVT and a 6-speed manual. Yes, they are keeping the manual, which I think is awesome of them to do. And without the manual offering, I think Honda would have lost the plot, but they're offering the manual, so good on them. The more interesting engine option, of course, is the 2.0 turbo. So that, if it sounds familiar to you, it's because there is a 2.0T in the Type R, and both engines are very similar according to Honda. So what is the horsepower rating of the Type R? It's 306 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. Now the Accord is 252 horsepower and 275 foot-pounds of torque. So why such a big difference in horsepower and torque? Let's discuss that. So one of the main reasons that you don't see such high output from the Accord versus the Civic is that the Accord is geared towards a different audience. So the Civic Type R is more of the sport enthusiast, somebody that might take the car to the track, or is definitely going to be enjoying their car on the back roads, things like that. The Accord, there are some drivers that are going to be doing that with the Accord, but it's a more mature crowd, as Honda would say, and that's why they kind of detune the engine to not only give you a little bit more reliability in the long term, but also, oh, there's a bunch of cows here, but also give you better torque down low. So the peak torque for the Type R engine, the 295 foot-pounds, is at 2,000 RPMs. Peak torque for the Accord is at 1,000 RPM. Another reason for them not tuning the car all the way up to Type R levels is that the engine will feel kind of peaky, sort of speak. So let's say when you're trying to be smooth and you're trying to drive the car smoothly, you have that much power coming on, and you know the way the engine is tuned, it won't be as smooth as a slightly lower power but bigger, broader torque band as the Accord is going to have. And yes, the other reason is miles per gallon. So expect to get better miles per gallon in the Accord than the Type R due to the lower horsepower rating. So the next thing I wanted to discuss is that 10-speed transmission. So Honda is going to be offering a 6-speed manual, again with the 2.0T, which is awesome. And they're also going to be offering a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is an awesome offering for the Accord. Now, I think that's yet another reason why Honda has chosen to detune the Type R engine. I'm just not sure that 10-speed automatic will be able to handle that much power if they leave it at the Type R levels. So a lot of people are going to be opting for that 10-speed automatic, I assume, as they have been in the past. People love to buy their Accords in automatic form. So Honda has smartly detuned the engine to match it up to the 10-speed transmission so that nothing breaks. So while it's a little bit disappointing that it's not 300 horsepower, it's still pretty cool that they're offering the engine in, in the Accord 2.0T. One of the things that is a little bit disappointing as well is that we are losing the very, very smooth V6, but we all knew that was going to happen, due to emissions and fuel economy targets. They just needed to get rid of it from the Accord. Expect it to disappear from all the rest of the Honda and Acura lineup in the next few years. Another thing I wanted to mention is that the Accord is going to be about 150 pounds lighter than the passing Accord, which it may not seem a lot on paper, but 150 pounds is a pretty significant amount, and considering that the car is going to be growing rather than getting smaller. So that's a pretty cool thing. That they achieved that by using higher strength steel, more aluminum, things like that. So that's something to look forward to. And, lighter weight is always better for turning, for braking, for acceleration. So that's something that I wanted to mention, as is actually pretty big news. So some other cool things I wanted to mention on the Accord is that it's going to have a heads-up display, which hasn't been done on the Accord yet. It's going to be, we don't know exactly how it's going to be. Is it going to be like the Mazda's weird little flip screen? I don't think so. I think they're going to be reflecting right off the windshield. But we'll see when that comes out. But it is going to have a heads-up display. All Accords across the line are going to have Honda Sensing. So that's pretty cool if you're into that, Honda Sensing technology. It'll allow you to do set the cruise control, and it'll space itself out accordingly in the highway. So you're basically almost like intelligent cruise control. It'll have lane watch assist, that kind of stuff, standard across all the Accords. So that's kind of cool for the Accord. That's kind of bad news for my radar detector, since my radar sees all of the sensing technologies as radars from cars, from cop cars. But it is what it is, and all Hondas are gonna have that. All Honda Accords are gonna have that as standard. Another thing is that it's going to have available 4G LTE Wi-Fi in the cars, so that's pretty cool. And it will also have the touchscreen displays that everyone seems to like so much. In addition to that, it'll have a volume button or a volume knob that everyone seems to be complaining about in the current Civics. So that's pretty much it. I didn't want to talk to you too much about the new Accord that's coming out. In case you guys missed it, I wanted to discuss what the new news is, what I think about it, things like that. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, let me know if you have any questions below. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
When a laugh shuts the door, it's a losing game. It's a losing game. But this time it's more than another lot of war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say